what they were looking at is they took meditators. So that's just kind of background on the brainwave action. So they took meditators and they hooked them up to an electroencephalogram, and they want to measure what happened with brainwaves while they were meditating. Does that make sense how I've said that so far? They're sitting doing what we're going to do. And they said they had never seen this before. This was the first time that they had ever seen where their brain waves went straight to here, in some cases within 5 minutes. Where they went, but they were wide awake. They weren't asleep. They called it a hypometabolic state. Hypo meaning what? Hypo? Low, under, yeah. And so, and then you'd just meditate for 10, 15 minutes, half hour, whatever it was. And then you'd come out, but you would get at a level of you'd get a level of restfulness, the equivalent of sleeping. Now, I'm not saying, okay, now you can replace meditation or sleep with meditation. And what I found is you don't need as much sleep, and your sleep will be better when you do meditate during the day, not right before you fall asleep. It's not the right time to do it, but is that cool? And so for the last 3 years, I have this monitor that I put next to my bed. It's a sleep thing. It's a sleep app. There's a few of them out there, and this is one. But every morning when I wake up, when it wakes me up, I immediately test my heart rate, my resting heart rate, and every morning it's in the low 40s. It's just really, really low. And I think part of that is because my body is very used to coming down here. You know, after 30 years, it gets used to something. It's used to being in that very, very relaxed, slow, hypometabolic state. There are just dozens and dozens of studies, and even the experts around the world, if you were to ask the experts in the field of health and well-being, in cutting-edge health, almost all of them will say, if you were to ask them, what's the most valuable thing you could do? Almost to a person, they will all say, be sure you're getting some meditation. Get some meditating into your experience for all kinds of reasons, mind, body, and spirit.
Just kind of going with that. So a few years ago, I was in an accident and had multiple brain hemorrhages or a traumatic brain injury. And they're like, oh, you're...
Why did you say traumatic?
Well, just a TBI, like that's the...
Oh, okay.
The medical term.
Okay, good.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't need to use these.
It's okay.
And so then they said, like, you're going to have headaches the rest of your life. Like, they just said, like, that's part of life. Like, because you've had this injury, like, that's what's going to happen. And so a year later, like, I was having these awful migraines that just, like, was, like, debilitating. Like, I couldn't do anything. And so I went back to see I went back to my primary care physician first, and he's like, well, we're going to give you an antidepressant. And I'm like, I'm not depressed. I have a headache. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to go see my neurologist. And that was the first thing he said. He didn't, like, prescribe me anything. He's like, you just need to do meditation, just 20 minutes twice a day. Yeah.
Oh, good.
And then he shared a story about, like, high blood pressure, about how it was really high and he couldn't be a part of this group because he had such high blood pressure. And then he started meditating, and it dropped really fast. Like, and then he went back because he's like, oh, my blood pressure's down. They're like, there's no way your blood pressure went down that fast without taking any medication.
Right.
So they still wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
it's just funny because the first doctor, he's like, well, we're going to get you like an antidepressant. And I'm like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then the second one was like, you just need to do meditation.
Yeah.
Hard to come by.
Yeah, that kind of doctor, yeah. I cannot emphasize how, I mean, there's not many soapboxes where I can stand on it and say, I know for sure if you do this one thing, it will make a profound difference in everything you do. Meditation is one of those things. where I have no problem. I've been, and I'm not saying this because I've said this before, I'm the normalest of the normal guys. And in 30 years, I've been sick 6 times where I couldn't function normally. You know, I get the occasional flus and stuff. I mean, no, I never get the flu. I take that back. But you get the sniffles and the coughs and that kind of thing. But I just never get sick. And the instant I notice that it's time, I notice I'm getting the least bit sick, I do the meditating, and my immune system just cranks. I know how to make my immune system crank. And it is, if I do yoga and meditate back to back, I've never taken one of those. And again, I think I said this before. I don't care what you do. And I'm not promoting this. I'm just saying my experience is I've never taken a flu shot. And I never will. I don't care if you do, and don't go out there saying, Dr. Olpin's telling people not to do flu shots. I'm not saying that. But it occurred to me a long time ago, it's much smarter for me to just keep my immune system as strong as possible so that it can handle all the problems, not just the single strain of this flu, that we might get the right one this year.